Hey everyone, Carla here from Documenting the Journey. If you've been following me for this calendar year of 2023, then you know that I am in the MakseLife system for my goals. I've actually been in this system since 2000, was their very first release, and I've been in here since the year 2000. And so I am going on my 2000, 2021, 2022, 2023. I'm going on my fourth year with MakseLife goal setting system. This year, instead of using their traditional 7x9, I am using their A5 folio system. And so this is their companion notebooks because I already have a planner that I'm using. Which is the Sterling Ink 520 page notebook. I'm just making my own planner this year, and I just know 7x9 is too big. But anyways, the point of this video is because I did want to do a 12-week year update. So the very beginning of the year, I set some videos up on my channel that I was going to be doing a 12-week year instead of an annual goals system. So we're closing in on my first 12-week year. And so I just kind of wanted to do an update on what's working, what's not working, and what I am probably going to be doing a little bit different next time. So this is just a quick flip of my first companion notebook, which is the 3-month in one book. So I basically just stated, this is your instruction booklet, and I stated all of my annual goals in here. I did my first compass assessment, and I also prioritized my goals by the value for me. And so a high priority versus a very low priority. And so that was helping me a lot in figuring out what I wanted to do for my first 12-week year. And so I basically took all of my high priorities and put them first in my first 12-week year. So I started with January. January, I felt like I actually did really, really well. So everything that is highlighted are all of the goals that I had completed. And so I basically went back to this spread every single week when I created my weekly actions. And so January, I felt like I had a really good hold on it. This is my first week of January, my reflections, my second week of January, reflections, third week of January. And then this is my last week of January here. And then we went into February. So with February, I have a little bit lighter of a goal on February just because I feel like I accomplished so much over in January. So again, I prioritized all of my goals. What is a high priority versus a low priority? You'll notice in my work and learning, I decided to just not do that this month, even though I had quite a bit in my January. I realized that even though these are actions that I want to complete, I'm focusing so much on other areas like my finances and my physical environment that I really just needed to not set any goals for that. Even though I still want to do my American Sign Language, I still want to have some financial education, but I just know that I needed to focus in other areas. And so I just left that one blank, and there's nothing wrong with leaving it blank because you know that you can always come back to it as well. And so here I am just going to go through and highlight some stuff that I know I have already done. I did my first of the month chores. I did this, I did this. And so I know that I've done those. My, so we have had a bump in our road under our finances. And so one of my super high priorities is creating a will and trust for our family. I've gone through all of the legwork with that. I've gotten everything that I need. I found someone that I want to use. They've come up with all of the rough drafts. We're just waiting to get the financial aspect of that. We were really close, and then I'm having car issues. So my car needs new tires and it needs new brakes. And so all of those finances that we saved for this is unfortunately going to have to be allocated elsewhere. And so we are altering our goal for this, and we're going to do like baby steps for this. It is still going to get done. And so we just kind of had a little bit of a hiccup, which is fine. That is one of the nice things about this system, is you can change your actions every single week. So if you do have a little bit of a hiccup, you can reprioritize what you need to do on a different type of week. And so here is the week that I'm in right now. And so again, I delegated some of my work and learning stuff at my actual outside of the home job. We had a really light week because my kids had off this week. So I knew that I wasn't going to be getting a ton done, which is fine. And so this is just kind of how my companion notebook looks right now. But I wanted to show you my 12-week year list. Let me go ahead and see if I can zoom in a little bit. So I'm using the back note pages of this companion notebook to kind of break down what I wanted to finish in my first 12 weeks. I've created a deadline for the actual 12th week, because it's not really a quarter, it's a legitimate 12 weeks. And so this is my deadline to complete all of this. I will say that, let me find this. So I already know that I'm going to complete all 12 of my books. So that one is going to be done. Even though my content has been extremely low priority, I've been very regular with that. And so I've done that. We have had our budget meeting. So I know that this is done. And even though my deadline is March 19th, we already have our budget set for March. It's been altered because of said previous problems, but I know that it's already done. So I'm highlighting all of that. My photos, we are uploading our photos to create a family book for the end of the year. And I created a goal to just ensure that I'm uploading those on a monthly basis, because when it gets towards the end of the year and you want that book, it's really hard to complete that if you have to upload a year's worth of photos. And so I just knew for us in particular, it was going to work a lot better if we just did it monthly, and then we can organize and create the photo book at the end of the year. And so this goal has also been altered. We decided not to do some of them, so we just completely deleted those. We deleted our original plan for our vacation just because we're focused so much on finances. We chose to do a vacation that was much closer to home, that was easier and more affordable for us, that we could complete. I need to fill in my 12 books because I think I'm on book 8. So I know that I'm going to finish everything before March, but I have it in my Storygraph app on my phone. But anyway, so this is how I broke down my 12-week year. So overall, I'm actually really happy with my progress. I think what I am going to do differently is in my next companion notebook. So here's just a dot grid journal that I've got. And I think that I'm going to brainstorm a more broken down way of completing my goals to its fullest. And so I think what I'm going to do is different for my next 12 weeks. Is MakseLife has a free printable on their website for an ideal week. I am going to print that, and I am going to time block and organize my ideal week. And I'm just going to glue that in to this notebook. Because one thing that I am finding is, specifically with my personal education, is I feel like I don't have the time to allocate to these things. But what I'm going to do differently is I'm going to write down my ideal week. I already know what time I wake up. I already know what time I go to bed, and I need to be able to reprioritize my day in order to allocate specific time for this. Now, I think that what I'm going to do different is, even though I want to read 50 books in a calendar year, which equates to 12 books every 3 months, I'm going to use a lot of these readings to do my personal learning. And so my financial education, I originally wanted to choose one topic, research a topic for a week and then learn about it the second week, research a topic for a week and then learn about it the fourth week. And so that was my original plan. So I wrote here to read and learn on week 2 and week 4, but choose the topic for the first week. I think I'm just going to find a book to read, and that way I can get my personal education and I can hit my reading goal. Now with that, it needs to be a book that I think that I will actually be able to complete, because sometimes financial reading is just dense. So what I've done is I've actually gone to like a used bookstore and I found an old like personal finance textbook. So that's what I'm going to use. So that's what I'm going to do differently, is I'm going to try and allocate some other categories into an already strength category. And I'm going to be using my dot grid notebook to outline all of that. And I still have several pages here in the back of my first notebook. But I think what I'm going to do on these extra pages, because this is my January, February, March, and since my first 12 week ends in March, I'm going to use these pages to do a more in-depth monthly recap for, where's my month? So here there's all of the monthly reflection questions that are already prompted in your MakseLife. And then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to do a little bit more of an in-depth about what worked, what didn't work, what am I going to change for that next month. Because some of that is in here, but I think I just need a little bit more longer form of breaking it down and processing and trying new things. So even though February looks really, really light, I am still doing certain things. Like I've actually done several things this month that aren't even on here. Like I went through, where'd my stencil go? I don't want my boxes to look like all wonky because I'm not using my stencil. And now of course I can't find my MakseLife stencil. My daughter has been taking it. Oh, here it is, because she likes the hearts on it. So she's been taking it because she's using it for her hearts. So one thing that I've done like this month that I didn't even have on here is I shredded old papers. And then I detailed my car. So I've got some other stuff on there that I haven't even done yet. So even under like health is, y'all, I struggle with health and making good choices. Like I know the choices I need to make, but seriously, like sometimes rough. I just realized I got completely sidetracked by doing this, and I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, how I was going to do things differently. So yes, the pages in the back of the notebook, I'm going to do a little bit more of a long form breakdown of what I want to change and how I'm going to change those things. And so I'm not going to update this as of right now because I clearly have a issue with getting distracted. And so that is just like a quick update on my very first 12-week year. I will continue to make these update videos and I will continue to just share my process, because I know that this, like, goal setting in general is really, really hard. I have done annual goal setting again since 2020. Actually, I lie. In 2020, I didn't even make annual goals. It was like I was that scared. But I am so comfortable in this system now that, like, I know that I have to have my weekly actions. Even if I don't look at this page again, like, mentally, I need to, like, put all of these actions on paper. Obviously, you're supposed to look at it. You're supposed to make sure you complete your actions. But I just know that if I write it down, it is going to be the first step in me knowing that I actually can complete it. Another thing that I have done differently that I wanted to share is this week, I actually wrote all of my weekly actions in my bullet journal and I color coded them with my Moxie markers. And so that way, my ideal system would be to have all of this in like one folio. but unfortunately MakseLife doesn't make an A5 of their flagship, which is fine. I have 520 pages here. I can easily integrate this system into my notebook. Another thing that I have actually considered doing a little bit differently is this next week that I was going to plan. I highly considered making this these 2 pages, because I've allocated 4 pages per week. So I have my weekly overview, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm using 4 pages. So I had considered putting in my reflections on this page, my weekly actions on this page, where instead it would have been Monday through Wednesday. And then on this page, this spread, I was going to try to actually put in an entire week on one page, similar to how I had my other bullet journal. And so this is how I originally had it, Monday through Sunday with an additional box here. Because one thing that I have noticed is if I keep this open on my desk, I have them in my face. They're always with me. Like, I can see them every single day, but I'm not carrying this with me. So if I can integrate my goals into my bullet journal, I'm wondering if I would be more successful in completing my 12 weeks. And so I think that's another thing that I'm going to do different is I'm still going to write it in here and just use this as my get really messy, but I'm also going to just use my color coding system. And then I'm going to add in my weekly actions in my week here, so I have them front and center and I remember what I'm working on. So that's another adjustment that I'm going to make. So my first adjustment is going to be to integrate some of my personal education into my reading goal. My second adjustment is going to be utilizing the note pages to like really break down and get a why of why I want to do something. Like, why is it important that I read 50 books, and then list out all of the reasons why I want to do it. And if I can't create a really thorough, comprehensive list to where I feel good with, then I might alter or delete that goal altogether. My finances, like, why do we want to be debt free? How is that going to help me in the future? And what do I need to do in the next 12 weeks in order to get there or to make a significant amount of progress? And then also, because we're having our little hiccup right now with my vehicle, what can we do differently and how can we allocate funds to create something separate, like a cash envelope system? I've tried that before. It does not work for us. Or a, what do they call those other things? Like the, oh gosh, I'm brain not working right now, but like the sinking funds, like creating a sinking fund and stuff like that. So I will maybe do some research on that, and then I will include that in my reading goal. It's going to be my personal education and my reading goal. And so I'm just going to utilize my note pages better. So that's the second thing that I am going to adjust. And then the third thing I'm going to adjust is integrating my goal setting system into my actual planning system. And so that way I have it with me. I have that like weekly action in my face. I can easily just have one book with me at all times. I can flip back and forth and say, okay, well, what were my weekly actions this week? This is going to be my page for my weekly actions. What are my weekly actions? What were my reflections and adjustments? What am I going to try new? And then this would be my actual planning spread of my tasks that I need to get done. How can I integrate these weekly actions into all of my tasks that I'm going to do here on this page? Because I honestly feel like overall it's gone well in this aspect where I made sure to put all of my weekly actions on a task list, and then I delegate these tasks throughout my day. So like on Monday, I did some of my home stuff. On Tuesday, I did my kitchen stuff. On Wednesday, I did my like adulting, oil change in the vehicle type thing. So I allocated my weekly actions into my specific days, and that worked really, really well. But I'm going to bring in the color coding system, even though it doesn't like aesthetically go with what I want in my planner. But I just know that I need some sort of adjustment to get to the point where I can have a really successful 12 weeks, because the 12-week year is a lot more challenging than I thought that it was going to be. I think it's going to, in the end, when I get used to it, I think it's definitely going to be beneficial, because annual goals never worked for me, because like monthly goals I thrive off of. Like if I can make a monthly list, I know I've got 4 weeks essentially to complete those things, with the exception of health and wellness. This one's always like this is the bane of my existence. But I know monthly goals I thrive in. My annual goals, my big picture goals, I really struggle with. And so that's another reason that I decided to try the 12-week year this year, is because I was hoping that it would get me a little bit more fine-tuned on my goals that I wanted to complete in a year. So I do have my annual goals written, and I do have ideas of what I want to get done in an entire year. It's just, how are we going to get there? And so that was a really long, I hope that it was explained well. I'm not the type of person that like really writes an outline for their videos. And so I really just kind of like word vomit and just like brain process everything that I'm going through. So hopefully that works for you guys as well. So my recap is, overall, my first 12 weeks is going well. I have had a financial goal hiccup, and that directly affected our will and trust, which was in our family and family and relationships goal. So with those, we just had to kind of adjust things. We did not delete the goal. We did not put it on the back burner. We're just adjusting how we get there. And so that will have to get migrated into my second 12-week year, but we're getting there. Okay. Like it's not bad. It's a lot better than I expected for the first go around. I will also be sure to put in, like, some of you that might be new to my channel, welcome, by the way. Hi, so good to see you. Some of you that might be new might be like, what is this lady talking about, a 12-week year? Like, this is just bananas. I don't even understand. I will put down in the description down below, I'll put down the book and the author that I wrote as well, and you guys can just check it out. I rented it from borrowed it from my local library. And so I never even purchased it. So if it's something that you just don't even know if you're going to like really stick with, just get it from your library. It's going to be probably the best that way. But I don't know why I'm showing you a top view. I like top views. They're pretty. So that is my update. So I'm definitely going to continue to a second 12-week year. I am going to make those 3 adjustments, and then hopefully I will feel more accomplished at the end of my second 12-week year. But honestly, overall, like for my first crack at this 12-week year thing, I really feel good about it. I feel like it's working for me mentally to have a more definitive deadline, since I wrote my deadline for all of these items to be on a specific day. Like, that works for me a lot better than just creating like, I want to get this done in a year and then breaking it down and figuring out what you have to do each month. That still works, but like if you want to, I feel like everybody uses like a weight loss goal, but if you wanted to, get healthier, you could possibly lose weight, but maybe you just need to include more vegetables in your diet, and you can eat 4 vegetables a day, 5 vegetables a day, whatever it may be. Again, I got distracted. My brain was talking about something else, but overall I do feel good with my very first 12-week, and I am going to continue to my second 12-week with those 3 adjustments. And so if you have any questions, then definitely drop them down below. I'm really excited about talking about all of this, because I do truly believe that this is going to work with the MakseLife system for me personally a lot better, especially with these companion notebooks. Because the companion notebook, one single notebook is a 3-month notebook. So essentially whatever you write at the beginning of this has to be done at the end of this, maybe shy of a week or 2. But maybe that will also help kind of people understand too, like especially if you're using the companion notebooks, like this is your 12-week year pretty much. So if you write it at the beginning, then at the end of this book, you got to be done with it. Like right now, you know, we're almost done with this book, so I know I need to kick it in high gear because I only got a couple pages left of this book to finish those goals. So I think that this is a good system for me to work with that also. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that that made a lot of sense for you as well. And again, if you wanted to chat about it, find me over on Instagram if you didn't want to chat in the comments down below. But if you are doing a 12-week year, I'm really interested in knowing how you guys' closing is coming up with your first 12-week year this year. So just let me know what's working and what's not working for you. And thank you guys so much for watching and hopefully enjoying my journey. And I appreciate you all so very much. And I'll see you on my next video. Thanks.